Did you know your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight to your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Visit Gemini.com/card today. Check out the link in the description for more information on rates and fees. Again, if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino here on a football Friday. Loaded, though, with a little bit more than football, as, of course, we get game one tonight of the World Series. On the program, professional sports bettor Chuck Edel in 30 minutes, his best bets for the weekend in football. Mike Somich, VSiN host. You know he's going to have sides, totals, player props, ladder bets that he likes this weekend. Super Dave Ross, morning show host here on VSiN, stands to win almost $70,000 on a team in the World Series. And Matt Vasgersian, he'll break down the World Series, Pauly, like only he can. How you doing today? Have you had fun processing exactly what took place yesterday in the NBA?
I was excited to listen to other podcasts and also try to wait as more information came out as well. And I'm still stunned at what transpired. And also I agree with that the NBA dropped the ball as well, that they had Rozier's phone. Now, I remember interviewing Don King one time, and there were rumors about Don King and the Mafia and stuff. And to our face, he goes, they don't let the brothers in the Mafia. And then you have this Billups story where it's he was a Gambino associate.
Yeah. So
I'm like, wait a second.
I'm like fairly convinced he's a member of the mob.
Yeah, I know.
At this point.
I'm like, this gets, and then the thing I retweeted before the show about he's got the glasses on and he's playing with the dogs at the poker table. I mean, this is just
this is a little bit, we'll pull back the curtain here. So the entire show here, Pauly, me, our producer Luke, we DM each other a lot of tweets that we might find interesting to talk about or show during when we're on the air, for 3 hours every single day. I think I have sent over 18 consecutive DMs without anybody else even matching me because I hate the For You feature on Twitter. I have been on the For You feature on Twitter since last night. I can't get enough of it. Yeah. Of all the people are breaking down videos look at what's he doing? Look at this.
Yeah. The internet's undefeated, and they have receipts, so they can go back to, how about this post-game press conference? How about this move to remove this guy? How about to play this starting lineup?
And then how about Pablo Torre today? Yeah. Kevin Garnett, 2019. And here's what is going to become, the poker players in that community. Because big enough players, there's no question, right? They have had a whiff of these poker games if they've not been involved. And the details that they know about it and some of the stuff that people were saying last night, and they weren't saying any names, but people, even poker players, are going to Twitter and saying, well, put it this way. If I know what I think I know about this, get ready for a big-name boxer to be indicted and also other huge names in the NBA.
Oh, no.
I think that
I saw NFL Hall of Famer. I saw boxer.
Yeah.
I saw another NBA Hall of Famer.
That's what I saw, too.
Well, then thanks to all the listeners, too. A ton of listeners sent in DMs about that Matt Berkey podcast years ago that he did, poker player.
Yeah.
And they sent that to me where he said this in 2019 that, hey, I've spoken to other poker players, and a couple of them are like, you know what? I think it's on the up and up. He goes, no. I'm 1,000% that this is fixed. No doubt about it. Because the only people that are losing are poker players over and over and over again. And the guys who are taking their money and winning have no idea, for the most part, how the game works and how to play.
Sure.
But they're winning every hand. So it's just like, we're going back and I'm watching this. And he's throwing out Paul Pierce and other names. And then you mentioned, great job. You mentioned Arenas yesterday. So
Well,
it goes back about, Kylie Jenner. Who's rented out their mansions where the mafia is involved and you got NBA players playing poker?
Yeah, the New York newspapers have been like dynamite on this, and they picked up that she was renting out her palatial estate in New York City, and then the mafia was using it to run these poker games. Just like who else is connected over this, right? And then so Gilbert Arenas doing what he did yesterday, you don't even know what to say about that. But he's mocking the mob on Twitter and social media, saying, I just had my informant lunch today. It went really well. And he was celebrating coming down the stairs of, the FBI last month. And this is also coming out now too. He retold the story. Remember that game that he played with the Wizards against the Cavaliers in the playoffs? And it was an awesome series. And he had a 3 to tie it up. And then he was going to the free throw line down a couple, and he missed one of the free throws. And LeBron came over to him, and he's like, basically, you can read LeBron's lips. He told me, if you don't hit it, you know who's going to. And everybody thought he was talking about himself. Damon Jones never even played in the game. He was on LeBron's team.
Yeah.
Jones entered, I think it was in overtime, and LeBron found him purposely on the corner, and Jones hit the game winner. And LeBron, you can read his lips telling Gilbert Arenas, if you don't hit it, you know who's going to do it. And Gilbert's like, he wasn't talking about him, he was talking about Jones. And he never played in the game, came in overtime, and LeBron found him in the corner. He said that was the ultimate insult to injury, that he actually passed it to him, knowing what it would do to me.
Yeah, that's like Pippen of the mailman. The mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays, and he misses both free throws. I can't get
enough of it.
God.
Yeah,
I know.
All right, so the World Series is underway tonight as well. Super excited about this. I think the Blue Jays are live here. Now, I did bet the Dodgers. I have it in pocket 7-1 before the playoffs. I'm keeping it simple. I'm not getting cute. I put my original bet on the Blue Jays at plus 215. So I'm good. I can watch a series, and I'm going to be a winner either way. But here's what you look at Blake Snell going tonight in game 1. It's the right call. The guy's been awesome in the postseason. Now, he only made 11 starts in the regular season. 7 were at home. His ERA was 1.17. He struck out 11-plus Ks per 9, batters per 9. He was 0-3 in 4 away starts, and his ERA went from 1.17 at home to 4.30 on the road. Well, fast forward to the postseason, he's made 3 starts. The game against the Reds, he went 7 strong, struck out 9, gave up 2 earned. They got the win, and so did he. He has made 2 road starts since then. At Philly, 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned, 9 Ks, and then at Milwaukee, game 1, 8 innings, 1 hit, nothing, 10 Ks. So I just, what do we do with those? It was such a small sample size in the regular season. Just crumple it up, throw it in the trash. Doesn't mean anything. That's what I'm thinking here.
Well, we got a lot to digest here and dissect. Number one, what will Bichette do? Bichette's hitting cleanup. He hasn't played since September 6th. What's he going to look like? I can't get enough of the props. The creativity's fantastic. All the Ohtani props. He was 2 for 25 before he erupted and had 3 home runs in the clincher against Milwaukee. Snell to have 10 Ks is plus 725. I mean, I know the Blue Jays are so good not striking out, and the Dodger pitching staff's been awesome with the whiff rate and what they've done, but this guy's been money. And I know with this run that he's had, he's 5-0 with a 0.68 his last 5. He's been so good in the playoffs. I just think he's too good, and this team is too good, and they embrace the villain role, too. You know, what Robert said after they clinched about people said they were sick of the Dodgers. We'll get used to us. We're here again. Can a team repeat for the first time in 24 years? You got Canada involved, but between this huge payroll and the tax and everyone they have and this ridiculous lineup and rotation they can trot out there every single day. This is interesting, though, and I guess it has nothing to do with this team. They are 1-11 all time when they're on the road game 1 of the World Series.
Is that right?
That is nuts. For this storied organization,
yeah, no
this
kidding.
Great organization, 1-11. Game 1 of a World Series on the road. So, I mean, there's a lot of tough questions here and hard to break it down. They'd be the first NL team to go back-to-back since the Reds in 75-76. I'm picking Dodgers until anyone can, make them look human. I mean, until someone can get to this pitching staff, and I guess if the one team that can do it would be Toronto, but I just think they're too good, and I don't know if you said it earlier. What if they get the bats going? They're 9-1 in the playoffs. They've won 14 of 15 overall going back, and the bats have been silent.
Sure. Well, so here's the thing. If their bats get going, The Blue Jays bats in the postseason, they have a slash line of 296, 355, 523 with 20 home runs and 26 doubles. That's in 11 games. Can we get some overs then on a game-by-game basis? And also, one of the reasons why I think the Blue Jays here are live is that they only struck out 17.8% of the time, lowest in baseball. They have home field. They scored 431 runs at home compared to 367 on the road. They struck out 254 fewer times than the Dodgers as well. And Toronto led the league in hits by 35. That's pretty strong. They are also 12th in hard hit percentage and 16th in barrel percentage overall. So if they limit the strikeouts again against this magnificent Dodgers pitching staff, that means that they're going to be putting the ball in play because they don't walk a lot. They're like very middle of the pack in terms of drawing walks, 8.4% of the time. So at some point, the longer the series goes on, if they're not striking out and they're not walking, putting balls in play, some of those balls are going to drop. And I think they're going to have runners on the paths here, and it's going to be what is their batting average and what is their overall numbers with runners in scoring position, I think is what it's going to come down to.
Make them work. Snell can walk people. Maybe he can chase them by the 5th inning. That can happen. And then get to that bullpen. There were some props here. I played Vlad over 1.5 total bases. He's gone over that 7 of the last 10. I got to play Big Earn to get a base hit. He's been so good against lefties all year. I think Big Earn can get a hit. And again, the props are just phenomenal, though. Like what to do with Ohtani, what to do with Muncy. Could be a big series for Muncy. And the other thing is the Freeman stuff. The Freddie Freeman stats that you read yesterday are unbelievable. That he's gone deep in 6 of the last 7.
Yeah.
And he's got a hit in 11 straight World Series games. And can he do this now? Be the first player to go back-to-back MVPs.
Which I
remember last year. I mean, he goes grand slam right off the bat. Will there be a grand slam in the series? Is 12-1, and then he hit the iconic blast to start the sucker.
Well, that was. I mean, let's be honest here. We all knew, and I was at the Boise State UNLV game. A bunch of us were watching it, and we had a suite for that game last year, and we watched the Dodgers game at the same time. None of us in the suite could believe that he put in Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, what are you doing here, pal? We said it as he was making the move.
Yeah.
We'll dive into the NFL coming up next. I will give you an angle that is 68% going back 25 years, and it involves a team that is also really strong here. Details on that next on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Here we go with the NFL. A rematch from a couple of weeks back when the Giants pounded Philly on that Thursday night game. That was at home for the G-Men. Now they have to go on the road a couple of weeks later. And after that demoralizing loss last week on the road against the Denver Broncos, and they're catching a big number. In fact, it's basically the same number where it closed on that Thursday night in Week 6. And the Eagles are going to be without A.J. Brown. We learned that earlier today. So is this going to be another smash spot for Devontae Smith, who was coming off of his career high in receiving yards last week when he had 183 yards? The G-Men, Pauly, have allowed the second most catches and the most yards to wide receivers. And the Opta AI stats at vsin.com, go check it out today. They are projecting 82 yards on him. Now, earlier today, his number was 55.5. I'm sure that number is going to keep going up with the A.J. Brown news.
I think Goddard eats. And with National Tight Ends Day, there's great props up at Caesars and DraftKings. He's 11-1 to have the most yards. He's 12-1 to score the first touchdown. He went off in the last meeting. I can see what the Smith props getting there, but also what Goddard did to him as well. They haven't been swept by the Giants since 2007. The Giants have gone over their first half team total in all 4 Dart starts. I think Dart can move it again. I also think Robinson, who continues to put up big games and get a ton of targets, will go over. His prop's up to 50.5 now in some spots. Can the Eagles slow them down? I think they'll be able to score. The interception was huge in the first meeting a couple weeks ago. But it's a question we ask every single week, and I cannot believe it. Can they get Barkley going? Will the rushing attack ever show up and get there? To think this guy is sitting in 50, 60 yards every game
Right.
is nuts now that we're almost getting to November.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. We can't talk about a Giants game without you revealing what your source told you this week.
Quiet on that front this week.
Whispers, huh? That's
Yeah,
pretty
not
much
much.
Not much.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Scatterboo
Okay.
was always. I can't believe he's 20 and a half for his receiving yards, but now it's more of a involved Tracy getting involved too, which hurts. Source says Singletary's going to be gone at the deadline, but I just think that you have to trust Dart and trust this offense, how good they looked, even though the meltdown occurred, which was more on the defense, but that he's looked so good in all these games, and you could definitely make the case that they should be undefeated and have won all of his starts. -5 in the turnover battle against the Saints, and then the implosion and all-time meltdown in the fourth quarter last week.
Right.
So it's just been a whole different organization and feel as we read that story from ESPN.com last night about the juice and energy and positivity that these two guys have brought to the locker room, and now that they believe. And it's no longer a rebuild, and they think they can have a good team. But it's a lot of points, though, as Sal Pal said. And it's a lot of points without your star player. And I don't know if you're able to slow them down.
Well, are you okay then? Maybe not laying the 7.5 here, but you want to tease it? Again, this is going to be the theme of the week, right?
That's right.
So teasing them down to 1.5 or 1 if you want to do 6.5 points. Some people do 7-point teasers, obviously. But we talk about 2 team 6-point teasers here more than anything else. If you can find 110 still. Moneyline parlays. And let me ask you this. Because the Bears are playing better football now, and the Bears are a very public team, will people look at Philly this week in Survivor? I'm talking about specifically out here in Circa, despite the Eagles getting that Bears team. Yeah, that's on Black Friday. And they were like, maybe I don't want to go with that game now because the Bears are now playing a little bit better.
And you would use who?
Then you can maybe use Kansas City at Dallas.
Yeah.
You can maybe use Baltimore if you have them against the Bengals.
I don't like that.
No.
I don't think I would not be confident with that Ravens defense against Joe Flacco.
Will other people though?
Yeah.
And let me give you this again. VSiN.com, Mackinnon with the trends every week. He has the pre-bye week stuff. Play on any team heading into their bye week when facing a divisional opponent. That's Philadelphia this week. ATS and Tampa as well, playing at New Orleans. That is now 54-26-1 ATS since 2013, around 68%. Raiders were the play last week, and we know what happened there. Mm-hmm. So that was not a winner.
We always have more information, and we can always change our mind, which we're allowed to do. Maybe we take away some of the performance and some of the things that happened last week and just realize what's going on with this Vikings defense that can't stop anything. So maybe it was not a good idea to go cover 0 and A.J. Brown and Smith can kill you. And then, please, take away something last night. Vidal gashing him on the ground. Gadsden's got 70 yards in the second quarter. And the Vikings just get obliterated.
I got to tell you, they're not the most disappointing team because that's Baltimore. But right after Baltimore, I think Minnesota might be the second most disappointing team in the entire league.
Yeah.
That team stinks.
Yeah.
And I can't believe how bad the defense is.
Yep.
And by the way, Carson Wentz should not be on a football field right now. Not that he can't play, but also the guy's clearly hurt. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
The guy was begging for his life out there on the field at one point last night.
Grabbing his arm every single play. So I have to take a little bit away of what happened last week, just saying it was also awful, Minnesota. And I can't really say, well, the Eagles are back because that was a great performance, even then the Chargers carved them up too last night. But I'm with you that maybe you think someone's going to screw it up, but this is going to be a huge week for teasers.
Yeah.
And you think Atlanta's got to win? The Patriots have to win. We got stats on the Browns that'll blow your mind coming up. Eagles aren't going to get swept. So there's, it's Ravens with the season on the line. Bills off the bye. The first 6 games are right in that sweet teaser spot. It's nuts.
Right. And I'm going to throw the 49ers in there as well because I was able to tease them earlier today on a 2-legger up to 8.5. The Texans have to beat the Niners by 9 points in order for me to lose that leg. I have to do that every single time. Mm-hmm. So here's what I was talking about before the break with the Bills and the Panthers game and the angle that is hitting at a huge number going back a long time. Road favorites coming out of their bye week. 94-63-4 ATS since 1999. That's 59%. But when you break it down even more, when they play non-conference teams on the road and they're a favorite, that's 34-16-3 ATS since 2000. 68%. That's Buffalo this week against the Panthers. And they are also 10-0 straight up and 7-2-1 ATS, last 10 overall in their post-bye week games. McDermott has been dynamite with this spot. And there's also this. Now, the Bills' O-line overall, third in pass blocking and third overall in run blocking. The Panthers' pass rush ranks 31st overall. But Buffalo is 31st in explosive run rate allowed. So I think this is going to be a huge game overall I think this Panthers team on offense can use that two-headed monster now with Dowdell and Hubbard.
The pony package.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And I also think Cook can go nuts here for the Bills on the ground.
Yeah. Dalton's 5-1 to the over, going back with Carolina. And I want to see what this Bills outfit looks like after McDermott saying we need a total reset after what happened. So it's been ugly and how they played. And look at the wins. That's the other thing. Look at what happened to start against Baltimore, and then look at some of the wins. That this team has also been a disappointment.
Good point, Paul.
So I would give Dowdell more touches, but they are 31st against the run. So this is one where it could be they could screw up the party here, and go down. And if they do, this gets wild because then you even wonder if the Bills are even going to make the playoffs.
Well,
if you can't win this game off the bye and you can't slow anything down on the ground, and New England should be able to beat Cleveland.
I'm not going to, by the way, use the Bills at all on any teaser legs this weekend. And I have them available on all three of my remaining Circa Survivor entries. I don't think I'm going to use any of them there. I think we're going to have to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
They also have other opportunities coming up that I like maybe a little bit more, and I know Dalton's going to be the wild card here, but the Panthers have been pretty good at home.
They have been.
And I think, the home road splits are much better for Bryce Young as well. Mm-hmm. So there is that part of it as well. We mentioned this briefly. Bears at the Ravens. Is he going to play?
He's going to play.
Lamar?
He's going to play. The move in the number, and then went through the practice. Looks all good there, and up to 7 now in this game. So we mentioned yesterday, the Bears have gone over their team total in every game. Big story of the season here is what Chicago's done with the takeaways. Number 1 in takeaways, and they've had 3 takeaways the last 3 weeks, what they've done. And Baltimore's -7 this year. I think the Bears' luck's going to run out, but this is where you think, can Baltimore stop anything? And that's to be, I know the season's on the line, but my God, the tax here. But if you win, what's coming up? You get this game, it's Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, the Jets, and the Bengals. Yep. David Baker was right. The day you were out, it's right there for the Ravens if they win this game, that they can rattle off this win streak, and all of a sudden they could be 500 and a good favorite to win the division.
Let me quickly point this out. The Bears have allowed a league-low 55 catches to wide receivers, but those 55 catches have accounted for 830 yards and 10 touchdowns. With Lamar back, Zach Flowers' longest reception, I think that makes some sense to me.
Sports Equinox is here. All 4 major leagues in action at the same time, celebrated. Great time for bettors with the Equinox Special, full VSiN Pro access. Everything we do through May 1st for only $120, less than $20 a month. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The AI-driven prop projections, matchup tools, betting splits, 24/7 live and on-demand video. VSiN.com/subscribe today. This limited time offer won't last.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Thanks for watching today. YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. Right now, we head out to the Progressive Guest Line as professional sports bettor Chuck Edel joins the program. He is currently in 8th place in the Friday Night Football Invitational here at Circa with Matt Humans. 25-24 overall. He is the defending champ in that contest. Chuck, thanks for the time as always. How are you today?
Doing great. How about you guys?
You're really well. Let's begin with this. I've heard pretty much nothing but Mississippi State this week at home against Texas. Earlier today, that number went to 7.5 at some spots anyway. And Texas, obviously last week, I don't know how they won that game, and they looked terrible in the process, but somehow they pulled it out. But you're going to go on the other side here. You like the Longhorns minus a touchdown. Why?
Yeah, and again, obviously a bad game there last week, and you can't always look at that last week. They were coming off a big game the week before against Oklahoma, which was one of their bigger games of the season. That big rival there. They did beat them 23-6, and so I'm not trying to make excuses for them because they looked awful last week, but I'm expecting them to get a little healthier versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State, they started off the season 4-0, and they were getting a lot of love. They did have a win against Arizona State. Now they're in the SEC play. They're 0-3, and this is going to be their best defense that they faced. Texas defense, you could say what you want about the offense. Texas defense has kept them in every game. They're giving up 11.3 points a game. Mississippi defense, on paper, looks pretty good, but in the SEC, they're giving up 31.6 points a game. And if you remember last year, they were the worst defense in the SEC. Now, they probably have improved. I'll give them that, but still a defense giving up 31.5 points a game in the SEC play. Teams have been running on them. Teams have been throwing on them. I think Texas offense obviously has been their problem. They're coming off that bad game against Kentucky. They do get a running back here. I think they get a little healthier versus this Mississippi State team. Number one, Mississippi State has trouble putting pressure on the quarterback. They've had trouble all season putting pressure on the quarterback. I think that's going to make things a lot easier for Manning. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against them, which last week they didn't have too much success. So, but it is obvious that the Texas defense is going to have to win this game. And I think they could shut down this Mississippi State offense. They're only allowing 2.59 yards versus the rush. They held Ohio State to 14. They held Oklahoma to 6 points. And I think they could shut down this Mississippi State offense and cause that defense, which I believe is already pretty weak. I think it's going to cause them to be on the field a while. And I think, Texas eventually wears them down and takes care of business in this game. I think the line's just a little cheap. Obviously all season long they've been having some problems, and the number to me came in a little short. And like you said, Mitch, it did go up today to 7.5. I think it might even go higher than that when it's all said and done.
Okay, how about tonight? Boise State in Reno to take on Nevada. The total's 51.
Little Friday night action,
yeah.
Pauly. This is a total here that I'm gonna play this thing under. The game sets up real nice for Boise to run the ball and control the clock. I mean, if Boise has, in a perfect world, that's what Boise wants to do is, they could throw the ball, but they want to be able to run the ball. They want to control the clock. They want to throw when they want to throw. And this Nevada defense, which isn't too good, but if their strength of the defense is that secondary. Against the rush, they have struggled, and I think Boise should have no problem running against them. I think, like I said, I think Boise is going to be happy running the ball, controlling the clock. Nevada defense, so that's not their problem. It's their offense. Nevada's averaging 15.6 points a game, and if you look at their schedule, besides Penn State, which they only had 11 points against, this will be by far their best defense they've played, and Nevada's gone up against some bad defense and has struggled to score. They played Middle Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee's been getting torched. They give up 30 points a game. Nevada had 13 against them. They played a Western Kentucky team giving up over 23 points a game. They put up 16. Every game that every team Nevada has played this year, they have scored less points than that team is averaging giving up. And now they're going to play a Boise team. I don't think they score too many points here. I don't think Boise, will continue to keep the foot on the gas pedal. I think they'll be happy running the ball and controlling that clock. This is a Boise team who's played a good schedule this year, and they've been, they have, that game against UNLV last week. It did get a little crazy, and they did give up 31 points in that game, but that was a real fast-paced game. This game should be much slower. Nevada averages 61 plays a game, which is right on the bottom of the NC2A. So I'm hoping that continues. And I think this total right now is sitting pretty much at 51. I would say it closes 50 here and before it's all said and done.
Chuck, I'm probably putting you on the spot here, and I don't know if you have your power ratings in front of you or not, but on this Boise team, do you recall how much you dropped them in your power ratings after that drubbing at South Florida in week 1, and then how much you've re-raised them since?
So I know, obviously, nobody wants to change your power ratings dramatically
Right.
after one game, but the first game does carry a little more weight because you're basically speculating on the power ratings. So that first game normally carries maybe a little more weight than it would if it happens in week 6 because you already got the stats built up and stuff. But it was changed, and now they've kind of creeped back up. They played that Notre Dame a game. I thought they played them tough. They're not like the old Boise team that would be able to compete with the Notre Dame. I don't think any of these mid-range schools with the NIL program and how that works out now are going to be able to compete against the big boys. But they held their own, and they've been creeping up they've been creeping up every week, I think, on the power ratings.
Okay, let's get one more best bet for this week. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Professional bettor Chuck Edel is with us on the Progressive Guest Line. This Dallas-Denver game is fascinating, but you want to attack the total again. You want to go over-under on this one.
Yeah, we're going to come back. Obviously, last week we did play the over in Dallas, and it worked out well. And I'm going to try to ride it one more time on this total. Again, Dallas offensively playing extremely well. They have the best offense yardage gained in the NFL, and they also have the worst defense in the NFL. So the offense is definitely better now. CD Lamb is back, and he had last week. He had the big run. He had five receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown in the game. Dallas scored 44 points in that game against Washington, but they took their foot off the gas pedal in that fourth quarter. I think they put up 3 in that fourth quarter. They could have continued to go if they wanted to. Dallas defense, like we said, they've given up more yards than any team this year in the NFL. And don't let the game maybe last week fool you like, oh, Dallas defense played good. Washington they were banged up. They were missing a bunch of guys on offense. They were missing receivers. Eventually, they lost their quarterback in the game. And so now the Denver, obviously Denver's offense has been up and down as well, but I think they get healthy in this game against a bad defense. They're still 11th in the NFL on yardage a game. In their home games, they've done well offensively. They're averaging 27 points a game. I'm not going to talk about the 33 they scored last week in the fourth quarter. What a crazy game that was. But this, Denver has a solid defense, but they do come into this game a little bit banged up, and they're also going to be missing their linebackers, Ray Greenlaw. I don't know if you saw that. He ran after the ref after the end of the game.
Yeah.
He is, they suspended him for this game for that. He was going nuts after one of the refs, and so they're banged up, and he's out for the game. And Dallas's offense has had good success versus some really good defenses this year. Green Bay was playing, they shut down Detroit. They were playing well. Dallas came in and put up 40 on them. They put up 40 on the Giants. Even Carolina, who's, quietly a good defense, 7th in the NFL in yards allowed, they put up 27 points on them. They did give up 30 to a weak Carolina offense. So I'm hoping it's something like that, a similar type of game. And I am going to play it over the total.
Very good. So there you go. Over that game, you're going to go under in the Boise, Nevada game, in Texas, the Longhorns -7. And you can get Chuck's best bets, 7 in total tonight. Friday Football Invitational. Matt Humans will run them all down at 7 o'clock Eastern. It's a 3-hour show, and he is the defending champ. Chuck, love talking to you every single week. Best of luck this weekend.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a great weekend.
Back at you. There you go. Professional bettor Chuck Edel with us there. Okay.
I think these teams come in. I think that 6-team teaser is going to hit. I really do. And it's so damn chalky.
Yeah.
Who's going to get you? Patriots are winning.
Bills scare me a little bit.
Really? Okay.
Bills scare me a little bit.
I think the Ravens salvage their season, turn it at least for the week, turn it around.
I'll buy into that.
Beat the Bears, right? Atlanta wins.
Is Atlanta just going to be too popular across the board?
Miami's a joke, especially on the road. The issues in the locker room, too, has been awful. They're going to get gashed on the ground. It's going to be so ugly.
They will. I will point this out. If you go back and look at the schedule and the games so far that Miami has played, last week was the only woodshed beating. They were competitive in like every other game. Win some, lose some is up next. Pauly's going to tell you about multiple props that cashed last night, at least at 25-1. Next on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Incredible way to start the season in the NBA. The performances by these stars and the double overtime and overtime games and what Gordon did. 14 of the 16 games so far this year have gone over. OKC Pacers 228 up to 233. Aaron Gordon to have 30-plus was 25-1.
I can't imagine any book in the world offered 50. I might be wrong on that.
I know. What was he, 17 to 21 or something?
Yeah. Can I just nitpick for 1 second? End of regulation. You might want to get the guy a look.
I know. 5+ threes, 25-1. Method of the first basket at FanDuel, SGA free throw, 33-1.
Jeez.
Of course. You bet that every game. The Merchant. Thursday night football, 42.5 up to 45. Gadsden first touchdown, 11-1. Tight ends week, baby. Trey Harris anytime, 12-1. Blackhawks plus 210. Penguins plus 160. Sharks plus 235. Wednesday night, Wemby 40 plus, 15-1. Maxey 40 plus, 13-1. Edgecombe 25 plus, 15-1. 5+ threes, 16-1. Jazz plus 330 on a money line. Sixers plus 180. Raptors plus 190. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Thanks to everyone. You've been sending in great stuff the last couple months. It's been phenomenal. How about some winners here? Look at this guy. He reached out to both of us. He was at Foxwoods. He got the Royale with cheese 12 times on Ultimate X Dollar, 48 grand. Dealt 4 to the Royal Diamonds. They're a girl's best friend, and he got it. Hello, 48,000. There it is. Good for you, young man. Have a good time at Foxwood. Go get Guy Fieri's trash nachos.
Oh, man.
What are they called? Trash can nachos.
Trash can nachos.
They're very good.
He's playing triple play there.
And he got dealt 4 to the Royal, but the big one up top is 12.
One of them comes in playing that. Yeah, dealt to 4.
Ah, good for you, sir.
Oh, mama.
This was also, I think this was, that might have been Rivers. One of them was Foxwoods. This individual got dealt 4 threes and an ace. And then on double super times. And then you have it, 203. And then it locks up and it spins 10 times. So that was $24,000. Incredible with that.
I don't really play that game enough. It's fun, though.
There it is. Look at that.
Dealt that bad boy.
24,000. Incredible. That is awesome. How about dogs? These have been good all week with the dog. It's fighting to walk. Oh, I need the sound. You got the sound? I need sound on this. There we go. Give it to me. Are you serious? You got to call. They're going to call animal control on you. That's the dog when the walk ends and the humans carrying him into the house.
Oh, man, every person in the neighborhood's going to be looking out the window like, is the dog dying? What the hell's going on here?
Can you imagine? This is what he does apparently on all the... Okay, that's enough, guys. I'm sorry about... Oh, my God. I feel so bad for the guy.
I know.
That's what happens when the walk ends and he picks him up and carries him home. He's screaming. This is a win some. Now, see, this is something you put up on the wall. And someone just paid $2.7 million for the autographed, iconic Eddie Van Halen guitar.
Ooh, wow.
That I understand.
Well, he's one of the best of all time.
Yep. That's a good one.
But that's that much money? Jesus. What does something like Jimi Hendrix go for?
Yeah, no kidding. Yes. SGA 50 burger last night, by the way, 16-1. I forgot that. Lose some. The Vikings have lost 9 in a row on the road in Thursday night games now. And 1 bad beat. Double overtime with the under with OKC. Do you have the video as well? This guy's unbelievable on Twitter. You have the glasses? Okay, so this is what they were doing. These are the glasses, allegedly, that Billups and the guys were using to see the cards with the contact and special glasses.
Yeah.
Isn't this something where you can see they flip them over and you can see what the cards are when you put the glasses on?
This is the form of this, and of what they were utilizing just to give people an idea of what you're looking at here playing that poker game. And the person who made this available on Twitter, people are like, come on, knock it off. This is not real. You're making stuff up now. Please take this down. And he's like, yeah, here's the link.
Right.
Go check it. You can buy this right now. if you want.
Well, then he showed the other video about it. He just flipped the cards over, and they're right. I mean, it's all right there.
Yeah, they're all correct.
That's the ace. That's the 3. That's the 4. There's the queen. There's the king. Unbelievable. But what Berkey said yesterday, and that video's all, I think Tim Murray retweeted, it's all over the place, was that these guys had no idea what they were doing and barely knew the rules. And then they're going all in and jamming with, they got there again. Will you believe it? And the only people losing are poker players. They're the fish.
Yeah, and that's why Berkey was, hold on a second here, my antenna's going up. Let me tell you right now, this is not legit. It's not on the up and up. Get away from that. I'm not going to go play over here.
Or the line moves, sharp place is already there. They don't just follow the market, they help move it. You're not going to outsmart billion-dollar books of full-time sharps on your own. With the sharp plays, you don't have to. AI plays up 50 units. The Robin Hood plays, he's donated $22,000 to charity the last couple years. But at it since 2011, Jeff and the crew do a great job with their documented results, public logs, and transparent receipts with Follow the Money since day one. Sharpplays.com.
Give you a couple of props again that OptAI projections on vsin.com. They really like this week. In that Bears-Ravens game, they have Williams projected for 255 yards. His prop was as low as 224.5. And they're going to go under. They have been really low on Derrick Henry the entire year. They are projecting 55 yards, even against this porous Bears rush defense. DK 90.5 minus 112 to the under.
They're big plays. Flacco opinions. Flacco under. Hurts over. Mayfield under. Love over. Henry under. Taylor under. Chase under. Dobbs over. Some of the big ones there.
Yeah, let me say this, by the way, about the whole glasses that we just showed and yesterday's ridiculous news again. By the way, I couldn't believe ESPN last night on the Inside the NBA. As soon as that game ends, it goes to overtime. Unbelievable game. Steph is the absolute man yet again. All right, let's send it back to Ernie in the studio. Long day today. Let's bring on Shams. Didn't even talk about the game for like 10, 15 minutes. Did you have a problem with that? I was stunned. I thought they would spend at least 5 minutes on what we just watched and then go back to the... It had been 15 hours at that point.
Well, I love what they did before the game started. I thought, I'm glad Barkley yelled at Kenny about get out of here with gambling addiction. These guys are just stupid. Like Rozier. Telling your childhood friend what you're going to do, and then he sells the information, and then they're counting the money in the house. I mean, I agree with Barkley. How dumb they are.
Well, the biggest part of the story, by far, to me, is the poker.
Yes.
And I know that we're a sports betting network. The poker stuff with Chauncey Billups. And that dude telling other people in the mob what was going to happen and who was going to play in those games, that's a much bigger story.
Yes. But this goes back to Rozier being stupid. Because what Shaq said is, they tell you, Jaylen Brown today's out of his mind. Well, the league has to do a better place to help us out. As Shaq said, they tell you all the time, you do not talk about injury information. You don't tip anyone off. You don't leak stuff. You don't do that stuff. And I thought Shaq was strong on that, and that goes back to, telling your buddies and whatever. But I did think, it also brings up a good point about you're never going to get away from this. Because if I'm an NBA player, and if I'm playing a road game, or maybe I have a homecoming, and I have family and friends coming to the game, and I tweak a hand, you're going to tell them. It's like, don't buy tickets. Don't bother coming to the game. I'm not playing. Who knows what they do with that information? And in terms of, I tell this, I tell you, hey, I heard it from this guy. So-and-so isn't playing. Bad hammy. He told his cousin. Cousin told you. Cousin told Mitch. You're never going to get away from that stuff. Sure. So I don't know what the league can do. But this stuff with guys, Damon Jones, other guys selling it, the information, and it's
I can tell you that, again, I firmly, do not believe sportsbooks are the victim here at all. I think that the fact that they allow these big VIP players to get down, whatever it is, again, if it's a handful of guys getting down more than $200,000 on the under for Terry Rozier, can't do that.
I think Frank B was excellent on that yesterday. That's right.
No,
it's great when they lose, but then they got
Sure, just make it. Just
got to be careful.
Get rid of those policies. And I've hated it anyway. Like, we're going to give this guy a lifelong loser as much as he wants, but another guy who wants to bet like a couple $100 and he's pretty decent. Here you go. You're going to get 14 cents now moving forward. It's a horrendous way to operate. And quite frankly, some of that stuff should be illegal on their end, in my opinion. But, and again, I had multiple people tell me some of the biggest sports books in the world, you're not getting that much money down on player props. Not going to happen.
No.
So, again, I went back and Thomas Gable from the Borgata and AC tweeted this out earlier today. He was on with Richie Baccellieri a couple months ago talking about the baseball situation. They were like, it was never a problem when Nevada was the only legal game in town, right?
That
true. Was it. And Richie goes, we offered player props at the Palms in 2005-06. You get $300-400 a pop. Never a problem. Never an issue at all, ever. So, VSiN host Mike Somich going to join the program coming up next. We'll get some best bets NFL Week 8 out of him coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.